In the last couple of days, we've received some very interesting historical reports of large cat activity in the area where I live. So it's from the early 2000s, and there were 3 encounters, one during daytime and the other 2 at night. Now, the daytime encounter happened when the chap was walking along a track, yeah, and the cat crossed the track, in his words, a few feet from him, and it crossed in 2 bounds, he says. And the other sightings were at night whilst he was out lamping for foxes. He had the cat in the light, he saw its green eyes, and on one occasion him and his mate, they tried to track it, so they followed it for at least 2 miles, and he says it kept a distance of about approximately 300 metres from them, and it was looking back to see where they were. Now, there was one very interesting detail on the sighting report. He described the tail as being 4 inches thick from tip to base. Now, that reminded me of what I'd seen a couple of years ago. I'd been out at one of my research spots, and I was walking along a track, and for some reason I just decided to look over my right shoulder, and as I did, I saw the back end and tail of a large black cat disappearing into the undergrowth. But the cat was down, it was slunk down low because it was crossing the open bit of ground. But the tail would have been from like middle of my chest to the tip of my fingers, basically. So it was also quite thick, 4 inches, I would have said as well. Now, at the time, I thought that was quite unusual because I'd seen a large black cat previously at another location stalking up into trees. Now, I was 100 metres away from it at that time, but I could see the cat clearly. I had a clear line of sight from it, nothing was obstructing my vision. And the tail on it, I wouldn't have said was as thick as that. Of course, it wasn't very close enough to be able to see for sure, but it looked quite thin compared to what I'd previously seen and what the witness described in his sighting. So I was thinking about that, and I thought, well, in both instances, the cat has obviously been aware of the both of us in the area. I mean, I was obviously being followed by this cat, although I was unaware of it. So I assume it wasn't in stalking mode. I think I might have picked up on that. So with it being seen, I would imagine the cat would be quite annoyed actually. And that combined with someone being on its patch, that would make it even more annoyed. So if you think about your domestic cats, when they get into a real fight and they're angry, their tails bush out. You'll have seen that a few times, I'm sure. So I thought then, well, the cat's been seen, it's not happy with anyone on its patch, so it's feeling a bit angry, so the tail has flared out like that. So that's why I think the tail would have been flared out. That's my opinion anyway. So this cat that he'd seen, he described it as black / dark brown with spots. So I presume by spots he was seeing the rosettes. But maybe he might be able to clarify that a bit more. So that's the information from that sighting. But that's the detail I thought was quite interesting, was the tail, the description of the tail. And that's what I think is going on. When the tail's bushed out like that, the cat's just really annoyed with the fact that it's been seen and someone's on its patch. And that's my theory anyway. And that's just based on seeing domestic cats being really angry. So I'm out here now. I'm in roughly in the area where it happened. So I did actually have a look out on the open ground, but it's really thick stuff to get through. And I'm not sure of any paths that may be around here. I might have to approach from a different angle, hopefully, and find somewhere to get in. But it'd be pretty hard going anyway. And there are other historical sightings in this area, so if I was coming here with the amount of cover, I think I would rather have someone with me, to be honest, than just be here by myself. But anyway, that's it. I don't think there'll be anything more for this video, but tonight I'm going out to do an observation at a location where a puma has previously been seen on 2 occasions. I got a report that it had been seen again. I spoke to the witness, so I'll be out there tonight just to see. Now, the witness saw it was it Tuesday night, I think it was. So we're on Friday now, so that's 3 days later. So I don't know if it's still in the area, but there's a little addendum to that, is that the previous week, I know someone had been walking in the area with their dog, and they went to go into the forest, but their dog stopped dead in its tracks and was looking at something in the forest. The owner couldn't see what. The dog was growling, and he just thought, oh, we'll just go in anyway. And when he turned around, his dog was off like a bat out of hell down the track. It was away from him. It wasn't sticking around. So he decided then, right, I'm getting out of here as well. So he didn't have any means with him, like a thermal, to be able to see what might have been in there. I did get out there a couple of hours afterwards, but couldn't find anything, and all the livestock around the fields around seemed quite content and all that sort of thing. So nothing was there to worry them. So I assumed that it must have gone. 2 hours, it'd be well away from there, I would imagine. But as it was seen again on the Tuesday night this week, and that was about 10:30 at night, I'll go there tonight and see if I find anything. And if I do, we'll be able to report it on here. And if we're extremely lucky, we might even get some thermal. But you know how it is.